How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to talk about the Atlas tree that I'm currently using, and this is Ritual, Legion, and Abyss. And I want to talk about one notable here, specifically Immutable Dogma, that potentially may be one of the strongest points on the Atlas tree. And as you can see here, it says you cannot reroll favor ritual altars in your maps, but monster sacrificed to ritual altars in your maps grant 100% more tribute. So if you are unfamiliar with how ritual works, in order to access the most valuable rewards in ritual, you do need to have enough favor to be able to defer that item, which would mean you'd need at least 15% of the value or the cost of that item. So typically, things like mirrors or headhunters, mage blood, things like that, can cost anywhere upwards of like 50 to like at least 50,000 favor. So you'd be looking at 7,500 favor minimum required in order to even be able to see those pop up in your rituals at all. And typically, in order to do that, in order to even basically be hitting values high enough to be getting those, you are required to be using these blood-filled vessels in your Atlas, or in your map device rather, which, as you can see, these are about 10 chaos apiece. So if you were trying to run these every single map, they would be getting very, very expensive very, very quickly, and then you'd have to spend a lot of time going and buying these. They're not the easiest thing to buy. I was trying to buy some in bulk, and even that took me a good amount of time even just to find someone who had more than one. But with this specific node and this specific tree, you are averaging at least 15,000 favor, upwards of 20,000 favor every single map. As well as part of this wheel, you are having an extra 50% chance, or 50% increased chance rather, in order to have special rituals, which are also having increased chances at the special rewards, like again mirrors and headhunters, and higher chances at divines, things like that. Alternatively, if you did not want to run Immutable Dogma, you could also be running the alternate ritual. Notable here, Arbitrary Tenets, which also makes favors at your ritual altar maps cost between 90% less or 80% more. So that would mean that you could have a headhunter potentially pop up where instead of it costing 50,000, it would cost 5,000. But on the flip side of that, you could also have a headhunter that was supposed to spawn, and instead of it being 50,000, it is now popping up and it's 80,000 or 90,000. I was running this for a little bit with Flexible Dogma, getting multiple rerolls every single time. It is nice if you are trying to get like the smaller rewards, like if you're just trying to like sustain more consistent small currency from ritual, that's fine because you do get to reroll the map. You do get to reroll multiple times, so you would get to reroll 3 times instead of 1 per map. But there is also the potential that if you're doing that, whenever you're rerolling favor, the items that are showing up in the pages that are coming after the first one are items that you would have been able to purchase based off of your value before you purchased anything or rerolled favor. So if you are rerolling like this, there is the potential that you would see a mirror or a headhunter that you couldn't afford to defer, or that you couldn't afford, which is basically the worst scenario you could possibly run into. It's the equivalent of like seeing a mirror of Kalantra on the ground and having yourself disconnect and lose the map. So there is a risk of that when you're running this other setup here with Profitable Prayers and Flexible Dogma. You can try that route if you want to do that. If you are going to do it, then again, just be careful that you might be able to run into a situation you don't want. But that's what I do like about this Immutable Dogma node with Abyss and Legion. Both of these are going to add extra monsters to your rituals. So you're going to see here in the showcase that I show after this, the way that I go about clearing maps is you're basically going to go through, you're going to clear your sulfite veins to get your extra damage and extra movement speed. You're going to go and kill the boss so that you can get rid of the altars, or the boss altars. And then as you go through and clear the map, you're going to basically be clearing all the altars, and you're going to be taking quant on everything if you have a build that can sustain it. And then after that, you're going to be basically clearing your legions and your abysses in order to add extra monsters to the rituals, and then you'll do the rituals last. And by doing that, you'll be guaranteeing at least 15,000 favor to your ritual, which is basically going to give you an opportunity that every single time you see ritual in your map, it is going to have the actual potential of having, you know, things like a headhunter or a mirror without having to use, you know, 30 to 40 chaos of blood vessels every single map. By running Abyss as well, you are guaranteeing yourself at least 3 Stygian Vices per map. You can get that up to 4 if you want to run Abyss on the thing here, because you are running 7th gate with this build. So you can either run the Abyss or you can run Legion. I personally run these with Legion right now, and I just take the 3 Abysses, which is still enough to cover the cost of everything that I'm doing. Even if I'm paying 60 for Legion, I'm getting guaranteed 3 Stygian Vices, which are going to end up selling for a minimum of 8 chaos each if I wanted to sell them immediately. But if you just list them at 9 or 10 chaos, they do end up selling over time. Typically in bulk, you'll get people to come buy 5 from you at once. So I'm going to go ahead and put a clip here of a map that I was doing just to kind of showcase what it looks like with the strategy, and hopefully I can post an update for you guys with some really big rewards. Other than that, if you have any questions about it, leave them in the comments below. Other than that, if you end up getting any big rewards with it yourself, leave them in the comments. I'd love to see it, and I'm sure others would like to see it as well. Good luck out there.